All right, so we are back again, this time with my final thoughts on the aromatics collaboration with French Avenue Platine Blanc. And in this video, I actually am going to be comparing this with two other fragrances that this is very much similar to. So you've got the GNTONiC from M.Micallef, and then also Torino 21 from Xerjoff. And I'm just going to basically be going over how similar this smells, to these two fragrances, and just my overall sort of thoughts on Platine Blanc. Now, for the note breakdown, I'm going to give you all the note breakdowns for all three fragrances. So for Torino 21, in the top notes of that, you have mint, lemon, basil, and thyme. In the mid, you have blackcurrant, rosemary, lavender, and jasmine. And then in the base, you have musk and vervain. Now for GNTONiC, you have tonic water, gin, lime, peppermint, ginger, bigarade, pink pepper. And then in the mid, you have lily of the valley, cypriol oil, cedar, orange blossom, and nutmeg. And then for the base of GNTONiC, you have moss, white musk, vetiver, sandalwood, and amber. Now for Platine Blanc, you have lime, mint, and lemon and tonic water in the top notes. In the mid, you have blackcurrant, jasmine, and rosemary. And then in the base, you have ambergris, sandalwood, musk, and oak moss. So there's a lot of similarities in, the note breakdown really between, I would say, Platine Blanc and the GNTONiC, the GNTONiC as well as the Torino 21. Now, at least in my opinion, the Platine Blanc to me, if you're talking about how this smells compared to each one of these individually, to me Platine Blanc, it definitely smells a lot more kind of like Torino 21. Not like the exact same, so this is not like it doesn't seem to be like a clone of Torino 21, but what I will say is it smells like if you were to layer Torino 21 and GNTONiC together. That's definitely what it smells like. I've kind of layered the two, and also I have the two layered on this strip here, and then I've got Platine Blanc on this one. And when you smell these two side by side, the layered Torino 21 and the GNTONiC, when you smell it against the Platine Blanc, that's when you can really sort of tell, like, okay, this smells almost exactly like how the Torino 21 and GNTONiC smell layered together. Now, to me, the GNTONiC, it definitely has more of sort of like a more realistic kind of like gin sort of smell to it. Whereas, you do get that a little bit in the Platine Blanc, but to me it smells a little bit more sweeter and slightly more kind of synthetic smelling than what it does in the M.Micallef. Now, if you were to smell Platine Blanc like just side by side with just the M.Micallef, or just side by side with Torino 21, then that's when you can tell, like, okay, yeah, this is definitely, it's not like a clone or anything like that of either of the two fragrances. But again, when you smell the two layered together, they smell at least about probably 90% close to what this smells like. So this is almost kind of like you're getting two fragrances in one bottle for the most part. Mind you, at a slightly lower quality level, you could say. But I mean, I believe I picked this up from Oud Store for like around $50, I believe. It was either $50 or $60, I can't remember. For you to get the level of smell that you get from this fragrance for that price, I do think that this is a very, very solid pickup. It definitely, it smells, very fresh, very minty, citrusy. You know, it does have that, you know, slightly sort of alcoholic type of smell to it, from like that gin and tonic sort of accord that you get. Even though, you know, this doesn't have like a note of gin or anything like that in it, you do still slightly get that kind of gin and tonic type of, you know, smell from this fragrance. So this is like, it's a very, very nice, you know, summertime type of fragrance for sure. I would say like summer and like late spring for the most part is, you know, the type of vibe that I get from this. And it just smells like, to me, this kind of smells like a fresh, but I would say kind of sweetened, you know, mojito. Like that's, for the most part, that's the type of vibe that you get from this fragrance. So it's very kind of citrusy, but yet at the same time, very minty, you know, very fresh. It does, to me, also kind of, it smells a little cold to me. So this is like I said, a mojito that, you know, has ice in it. You've got like the fresh mint leaves, you know, on the top of the drink or even inside the drink. That's the vibe that I get from, you know, Platine Blanc. And I would say that's also the sort of vibe that I get from, you know, layering the gin tonic and the Torino 21 together. Except, to me, Platine Blanc is definitely, it's a little bit more amped up when it comes to the mint. So the mint is not as, you know, prominent in both of these fragrances, the gin tonic and the Torino 21. So they don't come off as minty. I would say this combination of gin tonic and Torino 21 together, like layered together, it comes off slightly more citrusier, slightly more brighter, and definitely more heavier on like that gin note. That's definitely, you know, heavier in this combination for sure than what it is in something like, you know, Platine Blanc. But overall, like I said, this is a very, very good, you know, summer and springtime fresh, you know, style fragrance. This would definitely be like the type of fragrance that I would say you would want to take with you like on a vacation, especially like if you're going somewhere like, you know, tropical or like to an island or something like that, or a cruise. Like this would be the type of fragrance that you would want to wear pretty much the entire time. Now, as far as the performance on the Platine Blanc goes, so far I would say the performance is pretty average with the Platine Blanc. So for Platine Blanc, longevity wise, I probably get no more than about 6.5 hours or so of like total longevity, I would say. And then, you know, as far as the projection goes, to me, this isn't really like super beast mode when it comes to the projection. I would say it's about moderate, and the projection is, I would say, yeah, about moderate for about the first hour to hour and a half, and then after that, it definitely does, you know, become much lighter on you. But you know, at least for that first hour to hour and a half or so, it's, I would say, a little bit less than an arm's length, you know, in terms of the projection. But it does definitely give a very nice sort of sillage as you kind of walk through the air. So yeah, man, the performance, like I said, is pretty average on this one. I've had this for, I want to say, probably about 3 weeks or so now. You know, so I mean, I feel like that's long enough for this one to have, you know, kind of maturated. This definitely, I think, will be one that I'll definitely keep. Like, even if I were to go out and like purchase a bottle of something like Torino 21, I do think that I would still keep the Platine Blanc. Also, I would say the Platine Blanc, at least for me so far, this is, I would say, my favorite, you know, aromatics fragrance out of the ones that I've smelled. The only one that I haven't smelled so far is the the Carnal Desire. That one I haven't smelled, but you know, out of this, the Royal Taboo and the Xandol, this one to me was definitely my favorite one for sure. All right. Now, as for I would say I'm not gonna give this one a closeness rating because this to me is clearly not necessarily trying to be either one of those fragrances. Like I said, this definitely smells more kind of like a layering combo between, you know, Torino 21 and Gin Tonic. But, you know, if I were to kind of say how close this does smell to, you know, that layering combo, I would say this is about maybe 85 to 90% close to, you know, what those two fragrances actually smell like layered together. Now, as for my overall rating on this fragrance, this is easily a 9 out of 10 for sure. This is a very, very good, you know, summer and springtime freshie. Very, very, you know, citrusy, minty, fresh, you know, really, really refreshing and uplifting for sure. You know, definitely I would say the white bottle, it kind of gives you an idea of, you know, the type of feel that this fragrance is going to have. So I really, really enjoy this fragrance a lot, man. I do definitely wish that it performed a little bit better, you know, and projected a little bit better. But, you know, that may change over time. Even if it doesn't, though, I would say that this is still definitely worth it. All right. So that's my take on Platine Blanc from French Avenue. Definitely let me know in the comments what you all think about this fragrance. Also, if you all have smelled Platine Blanc as well as Torino 21 and Gin Tonic, do you also agree that this basically smells like those two fragrances layered together? All right. Also, I'll have links in the description to where you can pick this fragrance up. And again, if you're brand new to the channel, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. And again, that's Jamar from Vegas Scents. I'll see y'all in the next video.